Bases dropped on Thursday Thoughts here on Soccer's Morning Show on the SDH Network. John and Jared here, you there. Stacked show as always, coming from a couple of different directions. Morning, Alex. Morning, Abby. We got to talk about what happened in Paris and suburbs yesterday. We're going to spend a lot of time on that, both on the field and off. Bart's joining us at 9:30 to discuss reffing down here.
In Paris.
In Paris. Yeah. Reffing down here in Paris. And the U.S. with their kickoff is this afternoon. They take on Zambia on the women's side. We'll talk about the men's side, where for 60 minutes, the U.S. men's national team was dead even with the hosts. And unfortunately, for the final 30 minutes, that was not the case. So we'll get into that. 10 o'clock, our buddy Nino Torres is joining us from the Peruvian studios that he has, otherwise known as his place. And we'll talk Sudamericana, Libertadores, some philosophical stuff on Major League Soccer, and anything else that's going on in his mind. Obviously, the word, if anything, is I imagine that everything has been very docile in South America about what happened yesterday with Argentina and Paris. And then at 10:30, our buddy, last half hour of the show, our buddy Niko Moreno joining us from Pulso Sports on the Soccer Bar from Seattle. Get his thoughts on Major League Soccer, anything else at the halfway point as we get ready for the second half of the season. So, Jarrett, how did you watch the activity in Paris yesterday? Did you watch the MLS All-Star game? What was your itinerary yesterday?
No. I followed it. Tom is correct. This is the first time in history that SDH has reported a score that the next day we can say was patently incorrect. Because, Jesus Christ, what the hell are you people doing over there? No, I followed along and was just kind of gobsmacked by all of it. No, I didn't watch the All-Star game last night either.
I didn't either.
My better half is out of town, so I am just kind of solo dadding right now. So
all right.
We're running around going on adventures and trying to not get drenched in this constant downpour that is turning my front yard into the jungle for Part of Darkness, slowly but surely.
Oh,
no. What the hell are you people doing in Paris? Jesus Christ!
Let's see if we have this correct.
What?
Yeah, I know. Let's see if we have this correct. So, Morocco leads 2-1, and they're heading into, as we were leaving this yesterday morning. We were leaving yesterday. 15 minutes of stoppage time.
That's a red flag already. That's like, man,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of a good comparison, a good analogy for this.
Is there one? Munich 72, USA basketball and the Russians.
I mean, that had more stops and starts. This game going to 15 minutes of stoppage time was like someone walking up to the bar and ordering gin straight because they like the taste. It's that moment where you're like, oh, if I just hang around this person, they're going to do some dumb shit. Like, this wedding has an open bar. He just ordered gin straight. I want to see where the night goes.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm just going to need another witness to make sure that I am not implicated in anything, and video evidence to confirm that I'm not implicated.
I was going to say, does your phone work? Does your phone have enough batteries? Can you record video?
Oh, yeah, that's what this is. This is somebody going up to the open bar at the wedding, ordering gin just straight. And like, oh, I love the taste of it. Oh, me and you were going to have a great time. I'll remember it for you.
Yes.
And, let's make sure we got some bail money squared away ahead of time.
Yeah, it'll be Rashomon from the party. Trust me, everybody's going to have their versions of what went down. So as yesterday, as we were having the waning moments of the show, we can't quite. Can we say watch along? I guess we can. The sheer stunnage of 15 minutes of added time in the second half. First and foremost, Morocco's leading 2-1. All of you lose your collective minds when you get an equalizer to make it at 2. Christian Medina scores at 90 plus 16.
Yeah, because Thiago hits an absolute piss missile that gets saved and then put back.
Yeah.
Like, none of this is a problem if Thiago's goes in the net.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it hit it was double save, crossbar twice, and just craziness in front of net, and it goes in. So, Christian Medina scores at 90 plus 16. Morocco fans are pissed. They start throwing like flares, drinks, anything short of, well, I don't know, maybe some did throw their own clothing, I don't know. But missiles thrown onto the field, all that stuff's hitting the field. Fans get onto the pitch. Morocco was like, nope, we're out. We're seeing all this stuff. We're heading to the tunnel. So they head to the tunnel, and everybody's thinking, okay, 2-2 draw. We're looking at VAR. It's good. It's whatever. Everything's cool. It's a 2-2 draw. We've got chaos. Unfortunately for everyone involved, the match was not over, because when Morocco's roster leaves the field, the match had not come to a conclusion. So you have to restore order inside the stadium. The match had been suspended and not terminated. So 90 minutes later, they come back. 2 hours later, they're on the field in an empty barn. VAR is dialed up at that point. They look at the Medina goal. It is judged to be offside. We're back to 2-1 in an empty stadium with the rosters there. They play 3 minutes. Argentina does not score in an empty stadium. Morocco wins. That was yesterday.
So here's something I can tell you from my perspective. It would have annoyed. It's not a consequential complaint by me. It's just a complaint of if I'm running camera and hey, we're done. Cool. Start striking everything.
Oh, no.
And I get if you've never built a camera before, it's a process. There's a lot of stuff that you have to get squared away correctly. Trying to think how else. You're getting the tripod set, you're leveling it, you're putting the head in place, which is unreasonably cumbersome sometimes. You're getting arms put in. You're getting everything set. You're white balancing. You're physically balancing the size of it. You're doing all of these things. If hour after the game, I'm in the middle of striking this thing, and you're not going to carry this thing out of there, by the way. Not reasonably. So you probably have a flat cart, like a Home Depot flat cart to carry it off in. If you tell me an hour later, hey, put it back up, we got a game still going. Watch how fast I absolutely whip someone's ass. I would be irate. I mean, and hopefully they communicated to everybody, hey, don't go anywhere. This thing ain't dead yet. So hopefully they communicated that. God, I hope so. Anyway.
Oh, man.
That was really dumb. It really was.
And also, to add insult to all of it, Javier Mascherano said that his players had stuff stolen.
Had to happen to me once in high school, out of the basketball locker room. It sucks. It's never fun. Don't do this, people.
The Australian cycling team's car vandalized. Athletes' belongings were stolen as well. Argentina, Morocco, Argentine players had their stuff stolen. So, I mean,
this is stable.
Yeah. Welcome to the Olympics. Oh, my God. So
there's the question, Abby. I don't know if they can protest the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
No idea.
But from the sense I got, like on the screenshot, it looked to me like it was the right decision.
Yeah, even if it was 2 hours later, yeah.
Even if but you hold it responsible of like missiles on the field, that kind of thing. Like that does complicate matters. Like, because we can be mad in the sense that like we need you to get off your ass, everybody, and like communicate this better. But also don't throw things on the field, because then you get an hour's delay, and it's really dumb. And you do have to protect the players and the officials and the staffs.
Yes.
Like, that is important.
Yes.
Keeping everyone alive is of great interest to the game.
Yes.
So.
And shocking no one, according to Adriana Garcia at the four-letter, the Argentina Football Association, the AFA, made a formal complaint to FIFA's disciplinary committee, the pitch invasion, all of that stuff. AFA said in a statement it had lodged a complaint to FIFA demanding the, quote, necessary regulatory measures be taken for an event of such seriousness. I believe the word that was used, I want to say it was by Mascherano, was circus. The statement added, quote, it is imperative to guarantee the safety of the protagonists for the peaceful development of this beautiful sport that is football. And from the home of Argentine football, we will do what is necessary to make this happen. Mascherano described the events as the biggest circus I've ever seen in my life. Messi on his IG had an emoji up, and the word unusual was there. Chiquitapia said that it was regrettable what we had to experience today as Argentinians in Saint Etienne. Saint Etienne has been a very busy place. Waiting almost 2 hours in the locker room only for our players to have to go back to warm up and continue playing a match. It should have been suspended by the referee after the pitch invasion by Moroccan spectators, and the violence suffered by the Argentine delegation is truly senseless and goes against the competition rules. Furthermore, the opinions of the captains of both teams who believe the game should not have resumed were not heard. Chiquitapia, I thought I saw stuff in the tunnel where the one player, the Moroccan captain, was trying to talk to the center official and go, I think you got to check this for offside. But, okay.
And, this is why, like, amongst the many reasons why we don't, like, storm the field or we don't throw things on the field, you threw the whole game into chaos. If you really wanted to be a heel of a human being, I guess you could have argued, like, hey, Morocco fans were throwing things on the field. It seems that was the case.
Yeah.
Morocco fans were throwing things on the field, so, like, now what do we do? Like, how do we, like, we got to get everybody off the field, and like, oh, well, you got to look at this. Well, you got to get your people to not throw things first.
Yes.
Also, stuff getting stolen out of locker rooms. Like, it's just that's the whole thing is a disaster for Paris right now. Like, that is
to the Olympics.
Yes. Now, are there greater disasters in Olympic history? 100%. But this is not how Paris intended to start the Olympics. And now they're kind of facing problems.
Yes. Yes. So you got that. And like I said, Bart's set to join us in 10 minutes to discuss all of this stuff. But secondarily, he said, calls are now coming from inside the house itself in Canada for Bev Priestman's head. After everything that has gone on with Canada and the fun with drone episode that we seem to be having here. And our buddy Gareth Wheeler from One Soccer was on CP24 yesterday, and Gareth was asked about the whole thing. And so here is what our buddy Gareth Wheeler said about the calls coming from inside the house.
Let's not mince words or walk around this. This is cheating. This is cheating at the Olympic Games, and the games stand for fair play, respect of your competition, respect of the sport, and this completely spits in the face of that. This is the responsibility of one individual and one individual alone, and that is head coach Bev Priestman. She is in charge of an 18-member staff. She's in charge of representing the Canadian Soccer Association. She's in charge of doing what's in her players' best interest here. Spying this way using drones not once but twice is not a coincidence. This is a pattern. And this is something that needs to be handled even more seriously than it has. I feel bad for the two staffers that have been sent home by the Canadian Olympic Committee, because those two staffers, their names will be intrinsically tied to this incident. But the responsibility lays at the feet of one person, and that is the head coach, Bev Priestman. The fact that she has voluntarily stepped away for one game, this is not a sign of leadership. She's allowing two other individuals on her staff to take the fall for something that falls under her responsibility. She should have resigned. She should step away. She should no longer take part in the Olympics. Again, this is cheating. We as a country are better than that. We've learned the hard way over the years with other scandals. And this to launch what's supposed to be a really exciting couple weeks where Canadian athletes are going to shine and star. This is just such a bad tone to kick things off with.
Gareth ain't wrong, Jarrett. He ain't wrong.
No, but let me ask a question because I'm kind of pissed off
Sure.
about it.
Go.
Why should I feel bad for the staffers who cheated?
I don't.
And this is mostly me playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
Gareth.
Yeah.
Like I imagine they were either. So in my brain, this is how I feel about it. One of two things happened.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Either they were totally fine with doing all of this.
Yeah.
Or the environment around Canada's national team is so unbelievably toxic that they felt they could not say no.
Yeah.
That is where my brain lands personally.
Mm-hmm.
Either A, you were fine doing all of this, or your national team setup is unbelievably toxic, and we have bigger fish to fry and bigger discussions to have because you felt like you could not say no when somebody said you gotta go in here and fly these drones and cheat.
Yeah.
And spy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my brain is at. The second one of those, yeah, I do feel some sympathy for them in that situation. Because, yeah, if it's that toxic of a workplace, like, that's not fun. It can be tricky. Like, sports workplaces we know can be toxic. Like, that's not unheard of things being unbelievably toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But people feeling like this is the only way that I can like advance in this sport that is very like sports are very weird to try and advance in. And if you felt like that was the only way you could advance, oh buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Canada already has a lot of problems, you know?
Yeah.
Like Canadian soccer already has problems.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's where my brain is at. Is I feel some semblance of like, man, I do. Like, part of me wants to feel sorry for them. Part of me not. Part of me feels like, Gina, they knew what they were getting into.
Let them
I
crash.
say, let them crash.
Peter Agruso, the president, and Kevin Blue, CEO and general secretary of Canada Soccer, have announced an independent third-party review of the drone incident.
Oh, What are you going to do, Bob and Doug McKenzie?
Ooh.
Yeah, we're making Canada jokes this morning because you deserve it, Canada.
Oh, man. Statement yesterday. And like I said, when Rick Westhead from TSN's on the case, you don't want that. Statement yesterday from Canada Soccer, couple of paragraphs. As the leaders of Canada Soccer, we want to express our unequivocal disapproval of the actions taken by members of our women's national team staff.
Yeah.
On behalf of our federation, we offer our sincere apologies to the impacted players, coaches, and officials. Canada Soccer has, I feel like I should have some kind of patriotic music underbed here. Canada Soccer has always sought to prioritize integrity and fair competition. We understand that competing with honesty is a baseline expectation for all Canadians. We failed to meet those expectations in this case, and for that we apologize. They're going to have an independent external review. This review will address the circumstances of the current matter and more broadly seek to understand the historical culture of competitive ethics within all of our programs. The outcome of this review will be shared publicly, and corrective actions, if necessary, will be taken. We will maintain prompt and transparent communication on this matter.
Okay. Will you?
Why am I just holding my breath on that one?
God.
Claire Rustad said she's an Olympian as well. On the future of Bev Priestman, quote, either she did know and she was complicit, or she didn't know and she's lost control of her staff, and I think that's really damning for her future with the program.
Either way, she should be done.
Yeah, they cannot set a precedent that cheating like this is okay and will go unpunished.
I need like a crossover episode of Shoresy on all this.
Oh
my God.
Yes. Yeah. FIFA's opened proceedings on the disciplinary committee has opened proceedings. Potential breach of Article 13 of the disciplinary code and Article 6.1 of the regulations, Olympic football tournaments, games, Paris final competition. Matters submitted for the consideration of the disco in the next couple of days. What do you want to bet it's a news dump? Do you think they'll do a disco news dump like we have on this side of the Atlantic?
They're going to do something because, I mean, it's awful for Canada, but it's also awful for pretty much all of the Olympic soccer world. Like, this impacts them too. Like, this happens in the middle of a major tournament. It's not okay. Like, it's a black eye on everybody, not just Canada.
Yeah. Like, just you get into a tournament. I swear to God, you get into a tournament, and sure enough, you can't even get out of day one without and the friggin' opening ceremonies haven't started, and you're having all this kind of stuff going on. You can't get out of your own damn way. You can't.
And look, this is as much as I am going to like burn Canada at the stake.
Sure.
Like, as much as like we want to, I think as well as much as we want to, slander the Olympics. The thing is, like, it's an awful look for the Olympics. They're gonna be pissed, but also they can't control Canada being a tire fire. Like, that's not running the Olympics is a bit of a big deal.
Yes.
But so you can't control everything. I'm sure there's like a conversation. I'm sure there was an angry conversation from like FIFA to Canada. Like, I have enough problems without you blowing off your hand with a sparkler. Yeah. What the hell are you doing? You better put out a statement. You better fire her into the next province. Whatever you got to do to get this done.
Well, and
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Bev Priestman, when she was asked about it at the -1, said that she was highly disappointed to learn about the use of drones and added that, quote,
"Oh, kiss my ass.
By no means did I direct the individuals," end quote.
Again, the same. Okay. Same thing. Let's war game this one out because I'm
going to bring
really
Bart.
tired of
I'm going to bring
talking.
Bart in here at the beginning of this. So go ahead, Jared.
No. Either you know what's happening. Okay, so let's play choose your own adventure here.
Sure.
Either you know what's happening, possible, probably very likely, because most coaches I've ever known, the same thing happens. We do the same shit in college football. We're like, I didn't know they were doing that. Bullshit. Every college football coach I have ever known is a sociopath who controls every single aspect of their program.
Oh, yeah.
They're all insane.
Yeah.
They are basically Batman villains without good costume designs or marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's happening in your program.
Uh-huh.
You either you're green lighting it, or you're choosing not to know, possibly running a very toxic environment where people are cheating and might feel like they can't, might feel like I can't say no because I don't want to deal with the consequences of saying no.
Yeah.
Either here or in my professional career.
Yeah. Or
you truly don't know what happened and what's going on, in which case you don't need to be running a national federation's team.
Hi, Bart. Oh, see where we went this morning.
Well, I think Jarrett was talking college football. I think the logical decision is to vacate their gold medal from 2021. So,
ooh.
I think the logical consideration here is to make them hire Rich Rod.
All right, bye, y'all.
And not fun Rich Rod. Rich Rod at West Virginia is one of the most fun experiences of my life as a neutral.
Michigan Rich Rod or Arizona Rich Rod.
Oh
I think they should have to hire Michigan Rich Rod.
I did see a great conspiracy theory this morning that I don't know if you saw, allegedly the Argentina players, their locker room or whatever was broken into and stolen.
We talked
the conspiracy theory is that Priestman was behind that. So,
well, I'm already out anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and just.
Oh yeah, it's like
go ahead and just go big or go home.
Yeah, so basically, it just gives me a chance to go here. Is otherwise known as Beb Priestman at this point. Oh my God!
I've got France Fiji on behind me, so
you have friends. Friends.
The U.S. men got the job done this morning, so they're on to the next round for the rugby sevens. That's good for them.
I mean, that was a gutsy draw. That was a gutsy
sevens
draw.
Does look exhausting. Good Lord, I think they just run wind sprints.
Yeah, literally, it's like rugby at 78 RPM for 7 minutes each. I mean,
it feels slightly smaller than like rugby union, but it ain't that much smaller.
Playing it at the Stade de France. Before we have Bart get into Canada and Argentina, yesterday as a part of the car wash, Christina Uncle was on Golasso Network with Chris Whittingham and went into the initial discussion about what happened with Argentina. So this, I guess, qualifies as a little bit of reffing down here. In the pre-reffing down here part where Christina discussed what she thought was going on with what happened at the end of Argentina and Morocco.
The 15 minutes, and there's been a lot of debate and conversation of should it have been 15 minutes in the first place. Well, we themed the series of delay tactics as well as disruptions by the fans. And to just remind everyone, when the VAR is up there, they're able to track the amount of time that's actually lost. So that time is something that can be easily calculated with the VAR support on that. So the additional 15 minutes of additional time and everything in the sense that followed after. When you have to suspend a game because you have fans storming onto the field and causing it to be in an unsafe environment, it's only temporarily suspended. It was not terminated, which, I know is a bit of a surprise to people. Just know that they'd be returning. But everything followed according to protocol and procedure. Semi-automated offside technology is being used here in the Olympics, which allowed and really clearly showed that the Argentinian goal was offside. So quite a bit unprecedented because you're not only officiating a match, now you're having to officiate things of, country divides, right? And the disruption by the Moroccan fans. So we really hope moving forward in this tournament that people aren't going to be using this as a blueprint to try to find ways to, give their team a sporting advantage from the fan side.
Good luck with that.
It looked messy. It really did. But I think Christina hits all the points that this was done correctly in 15 minutes was 15 minutes, because that's what happens when, as you pointed out, you have people actually tracking time loss during a match. We can get into that another time. But, and then unfortunately you had, I think the unfortunate part is the Morocco team and fans didn't allow the review process to actually take place before they started acting a fool. And to be fair, I think both teams' fans were acting foolish the entire time. And this is something that in the world of soccer, we need to stop immediately. We saw these shenanigans happen here at Copa America. This is not how you act in public. This is not how you act in general. And to put to somehow make this about referees when y'all can't act right is foolish, is shameful, and to be quite honest, is proof that you don't belong at these matches. You don't deserve to be here. This is not a right to just show up and be there, right? When you come to a match, you agree to act in some level of decorum. I'm not asking you to be, English at a cricket match. I'm just asking you to be respectful of what we're doing here, right? Be respectful of the other fans, be respectful of the players, be respectful of the people involved. And this wasn't that at all by anyone. And it put both teams at danger. It put the referee crew in danger. And all you needed was to wait about 2 minutes and the goal would have been ruled offside. They were just mad because, again, this is one of those things where, unfortunately, with VAR, you have to let the play out. So you let the play out. And to be honest, there were multiple times where it looked like someone could have been offside and they really weren't until, the very end. And then you have to go back and go, okay, which one was offside and which one wasn't? And honestly, as an assistant referee, it's a little bit nice to not have to worry too much about offside in the moment of this chaos in front of goal, because there's a lot of other things you might have to call. Handballs, fouls, all the shenanigans that could have happened. And to allow VAR to take the biggest onus of the offside, unless it's something truly, obvious, it is kind of nice because, again, you can focus on, real misconduct happening in front of you. But all they needed to do was wait a couple minutes and this goal would have been ruled offside, because as we had the semi-automatic offside and other VAR mechanisms that probably would have showed that the Argentine player would have been offside. And they didn't. And that's shameful, to be quite honest.
Topic number 2, Canada and New Zealand.
They play in an hour and a half.
Yeah. Bev Priestman will not be on the touchline. She has removed herself from there for, as I believe we should probably just all put our hands on our hearts and the other hand in the air and sway from side to side for the betterment of the sportsmanship of the game. She has removed herself from the on-field situation. New Zealand yesterday, by the way, as a part of all of this, they came out with their statement. Everybody's coming out with statements. Following confirmation that a Canadian team staff member has been involved in flying a drone over 2 New Zealand women's Olympic team training sessions ahead of the two sides facing each other, New Zealand football CEO Andrew Pragnell commented, quote, okay, so he said what he said in sentence number 1. Sentence number 2, to hear now that the Canadian team had filmed secret footage of our team training at least twice is incredibly concerning, and if not treated urgently, could have wider implications for the integrity of the tournament. Last sentence, we note that there have been some admissions by the Canadian National Olympic Committee, and they've taken their own sanctions against the Canadian team. However, considering the seriousness of the situation and the potential implications to the sporting integrity of the entire tournament, we have referred the matter to the FIFA Disco seeking urgent action. And so it is with FIFA Disco right now. Not once, but twice. Seriously, not once, but twice you do this. I'd love to know what actually was on the drone footage. Well, if it was there at the beginning of practice, did you just
It's New Zealand. It's them practicing bunkering. Like, come on, stop. Like, that's what I don't get about this. Like, what are you expecting New Zealand to do something different than put 12 people behind the ball? Like, what?
I'm wondering if they just ended up getting like toe touchies and calisthenics on the.
Yeah, like I just like what embarrassing.
I know.
And look, let's not pretend like the Canadian Federation knows what the hell they're doing at all, because they've proven that time and time again over the last couple of years that they have no clue what they're doing ever. And we joke, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, but this wasn't even good cheating.
It's not good cheating.
No, it's not. And yeah, that's like, and to Bart's point, it's what I was talking about earlier, John, is like, it's not like Canada has like had a really good chilled out run lately. Like questioning like who was going to coach the team. Were you going to be able to pay that coach? Were you going to pay your players? And not like pay the players in like a, hey, pay them equally. No. Are they going to get a check that doesn't bounce?
Yeah. The semantics.
These are conversations we have about NISA.
Yeah.
And we're having them about Canada's national team.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But how dumb are you to get caught? B, you do it once and you do it twice. And I believe the uncredentialed team member, we had mentioned that Saint Etienne was having a busy time, faced a court in Saint Etienne. It was a suspended sentence of 8 months jail time and sent home. So legitimately, as we were, as we ran the sound from Gareth Wheeler from One Soccer before you came on, Bart, I don't know how Bev Priestman survives this. I really don't.
Well, and that's the thing is this isn't something that like you can look back on and go, well, this is a poor result of a tournament, right? Or she made a player mad and had a bad relationship with a player. This is about the integrity of the sport. Mm-hmm. This is about the integrity of the federation. This is not good in terms of, you can't allow someone to get away with blatant cheating. And I'm not saying cheating doesn't happen, or spying or scoping or whatever you want to call it. Like, there are different levels of the scouting game. Mm-hmm. We all know this. But again, this is New Zealand. This is not a team that does something different necessarily.
You're cheating on New Zealand.
That's what I just like. It's New Zealand. And that to me
rugby,
is
y'all.
Right. This isn't rugby.
Ain't walking through that door, baby.
It's embarrassing that they had to resort to this, because that shows to me, if I'm a Canada fan, that shows to me that Bev actually doesn't have any confidence in her team, that they have to cheat to beat New Zealand of all teams, which I'm not. Look, New Zealand just doesn't win. They don't win at international tournaments. They qualify because they're an easy qualification group. They get there and they're not good, and to me, this is a signal that Bev doesn't think her team is either A, very good, or B, can beat New Zealand. And that's kind of concerning from a sporting side of things.
What do you do to Canada? I mean, in this tournament, legitimately, should they be removed from the tournament? Do we go to that kind of an extreme to set some kind of an example, or are we just going to get another disco news dump of a finger wag here?
You say extreme, like kicking a team out of a tournament is a unnecessary potential punishment. Not that you do it, but like your players are responsible. Players are sometimes suffer the consequences of their coach's stupid decision making, and like if this were a youth tournament and people were cheating, you'd kick them out. I mean, it's a different kind of cheating, but generally it's like, I'm 12, said the 30-year-old.
Yeah, I was going to say this isn't like what's his face from the Little League up in New York.
Danny Almonte.
Daniel Monte. Yeah, this isn't a Danny Almonte kind of a thing. This is literally taking drones and spying and shooting video of an opponent in a tournament, which also opens the door to this question. Yeah, okay, you did it this time and got caught. How many other times is this something that's prevalent within the Bev Priestman administration when it comes to scouting opponents? You've opened that door with this activity getting caught in the 5-ring circus.
Well, and this is where if I'm France or Colombia, other teams in their group, I want to know, were they spying on us? Did we just not catch it? You know, obviously New Zealand's their first game, so it's safe to assume that they were just spying on New Zealand for that. But like, why wouldn't they also try to get practice footage of France and Colombia? Because this is someone who clearly doesn't care. And look, Bev may not have done the actual thing, right? But I'm with you, Jarrett. There's no way she didn't know. So how long has this been going on? Because you don't just bring a drone to a foreign country for stuff like that. I mean, you just don't just bring one, pack one into the carry-on, and come on.
Just throw it into your personal item and talk.
Right. Like this is like what part of the equipment checked baggage was this in? Because you don't really have a need for a drone at your own practices. Do you? I don't think so.
I kind of like the idea of drones for like social media stuff, but yeah,
sure.
Like unless you're like wanting like super high level, I need a bird's eye view of everything happening with my team right now, and I need to see how guys are doing the catenaccio. Yeah, I don't really need one.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wondering is like you don't you don't need that for your own practice. So why are you bringing it? Because it wouldn't be part of the. I mean, I'm sure Team Canada sent a social media person. Sure, they might have a drone, but it's also one of those where I think the funny part to me is that homeboy got arrested because this is illegal in France, and that's where I'm also wondering: did you check with any sort of international law? Also, that man should have been extra, sent home immediately. What is the French, consulate or ambassadors group doing in France right now to not get this man out of there as soon as this happened? That's
I think he had to kind of stand in front of a judge just for the whole idea of you've been charged. Okay, here's the deal: 8 months suspended sentence. Now get the hell out. So I'm guessing that's what I'm guessing just because of the legal process that you had to kind of stay. Players for New Zealand said, we heard you weren't allowed to use drones and it's a no-fly zone. So it was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
And the interim head coach, Michael Maine, says you're above everybody, so you can literally see all the patterns and things we're working on. If we're working on specifics for this game, if you have access to that, then it's pretty
They're tough. Not. Stop blowing. No, you're not doing. You're working on how to get 7 people in a line of defense instead of 4. Like, stop this. You're New Zealand. You don't have
You're
patterns.
New Zealand.
Stop this.
He's not wrong. It's just
you're New Zealand.
Bart's not wrong. It's just funny though.
Yeah. Canadian assistant coach Jasmine Mander and analyst Joseph Lombardi were sent home immediately Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, Bev Priestman probably should have too, because I'm with you. Like, there's no way, and your punishment can't be, I'll just sit out this game. It's fine. What kind of self-imposed bowl ban is that? Like, sorry, we're not going to the Liberty Bowl this year.
Yeah, we're 6-6 and we've decided, or 6-7, and our APR was good enough, but we're not going to go to the Texas Bowl. So I think that's what you're staring at here.
Right.
The 2 other topics in the other 10 minutes that we have before Nino Torres comes in. Yesterday, 60 minutes of goalless, and then it wasn't for the men's national team. What happened there?
Well, so John, France has a lot of really good soccer players.
Some dude named Lacazette, I heard.
When you're bringing Alexander Lacazette in as your overage player, you're good.
Yeah.
And I think it's honestly, I think it's really sad because this team, this US team, actually played really well even after the goals. They had 3, maybe 4 total bad moments in the game defensively. I thought the first goal was a little bit of a, I don't know what Busio was doing. He kind of didn't impress me too much yesterday. I got to be honest. He was disappointing. Miles was, he kind of ran past the shot without getting in the way. So between those two guys, and then Schulte probably maybe could have done better, but also it's just, it found the corner. If you want a goalkeeper to save a ball that goes literally almost off the post, then I don't know, find someone who's Shaq's size with, the reflexes of a cat. But
I think I can save it.
You need Courtois.
Yes, literally. Sorry that Patrick Schulte isn't Philip Courtois.
A 6'6" cat on meth.
Yeah. The disappointing one, I think, was the header on the set piece on the corner kick, which maybe should have been a foul, but the referee wasn't calling literally anything. That was a little disappointing. I don't think the referee had a very good game yesterday. But that, I think it sucks, honestly, because you played really well, and that defeats kind of the feeling. Like, it's hard as a player to go, yeah, we played really well, but you lost 3-0. Like, that's just the cognitive dissonance of that is tough. And further, from a standing standpoint, while the math doesn't truly change, you still, as you were probably planning anyway, you needed to beat New Zealand and Guinea, which are Guinea. That's what we decided. Yeah. The country that has the same flag as their neighbor Mali, but reversed, by the way. This is the other confusing part of this whole West Africa.
Is that Guinea or Guinea-Bissau?
Guinea.
Okay, thank you.
No, whatever. But they have the same color. It's not Guinea. It's not Guinea-Bissau. It's not Guinea-Bissau. They have a different color scheme.
Cool.
Anyway, you still had to beat those two. That was the plan. You're still going to have to beat New Zealand and Guinea. That, though, changes slightly because you got a 3-goal hole now. And while you probably weren't expecting to beat France, I think realistically, had you been able to pull off a draw in this game, that now gives you a chance to possibly, we're talking about maybe winning the group, seriously. But the confidence you need to take from this is, if you play that way, you're probably beating New Zealand on Saturday. You're definitely beating Guinea on Tuesday. It sucks that New Zealand got a win, because that does give them a little bit of a leg up in the grand scheme of things. But this was a good performance. I think just about every single player had a good game except for John Tolkien, and that's only because Caleb Wiley deserved to start. That's false. I don't think Busio had a great game. I thought Tessman was good. I thought Harriel was okay. The center backs looked fine. Miles maybe should have done better on the goal, but it's not his fault that a guy got to do one of the slowest little turns that I've ever seen and somehow still beat Busio to the spot and get a shot off. Schulte probably could have been a little bit better. I know there's going to be some debate because Gaga plays in Europe, so that means he's 17 times better than Schulte, apparently. That's just how this works. If you play in Belgium, that means you're better than any possible player who's ever played in MLS. So I don't expect that chatter to go down after Schulte gives up 3 goals. But I thought everyone played pretty well. We had plenty. Even Tolkien had a chance that he probably should have scored, but headed it right off the post. Mihailovic put one off the crossbar. We had chances. We deserved a goal. And you just have to hope that as you keep playing against a team not named France, with still somehow able to put out a fantastic team at the U23 level like this, you're going to get some goals go your way. But you did, again, you played really well. You controlled parts of the match. You were able to keep France, even when they were scoring, you were able to keep France, from doing everything that they wanted for the most part. And that it's just really, it sucks. That's the only way I can say it. It just sucks because you did play so well, and then you get a 3-goal loss, and It's hard to sit with as a player, despite what your coach is going to tell you.
I like that SofaScore just sent me a notification asking me to tune in to see if Canada can defend their gold. Because SofaScore can't read a room.
No, they can't. Today it is on the women's side, U.S. women and Zambia. I imagine that the U.S. in the juice boxes, I have yet to look, but I imagine the U.S. in the juice boxes is a fairly prohibitive favorite in said match. Maybe, possibly, probably.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at this match though today, you have to hope that the U.S. can put goals in the back of the net because Barbara Banda is very good, and if you can't keep Zambia's attack at bay for 90 minutes, which is going to be tough, you're going to have to find ways to score because as we saw in the friendlies last week, we created some chances. We got a lot of touches in the box and in front of goal, and the ball didn't go in for one reason or another. So you've got to be sharper. You got to find the net, and you have to take it to Zambia and continue to put the pressure on them because they're the team who has to get lucky enough to find the result, So you've got to continue. You've got to deny them as many chances as possible, and you've got to create for yourself.
Women's team is a minus 2,000 in the juice boxes today, as a matter of fact. Zambia is a plus. Yeah, minus 2,000. Minus 2,000 in the juice boxes. Your draws.
I will take action against that just because that number is dumb.
Right. I'm like, that's a number. Yes. I would. I'd at least put money on a draw.
Draws a plus 1,200. So
I'll be in Vegas this weekend, by the way, Jarrett.
That's right. So that's why Bart's getting in his licks now because he's not going to be with us next Monday because he's actually going to the Nationals.
Well, we'll see.
Zambia, yes, Zambia to win is a plus 28-27 in the composite. One other thing before you go, IFAB has put out the guidelines on only the captain can approach the referee.
Yeah.
And Tommy Scoops caught up with MLS Senior VP of Sporting Development, Allie Curtis. MLS is planning to implement that rule that only captains can speak with the ref on the field, as we saw at the Euros. Quote, there's a lot of momentum to have that rule implemented in MLS. I really like that rule, end quote.
I like it too. I think this is something that, as we've seen, the crowding of the referee and the constant blowing the explicit rating, bitching at the referee.
I believe
Jared already.
Okay, good. Well, I don't know how else to say this. You're bitching and moaning and belly aching for no good reason because y'all can't accept the fact that you probably fouled someone. Dumbasses. But I like that because it forces the captain to A, have an actual role in the game, and B, it does give the referees permission to take action against these players who are acting like petulant little children who were told they couldn't have a cookie, And that doesn't mean that no player will ever be able to talk to a referee. Like, I think if you are on the ground after getting fouled and you look at the ref and throw your hands up and go, come on, ref, like that's not going to be what we're talking about here. We're talking about actually approaching and having conversations with the referee. And I think this is a good thing. To Abby's point, hi, Abby. Going to be tough to be a goalkeeper and a referee and a captain. That unless Brad wants to do wind sprints for 90 minutes.
Brad has multiple kids. He can handle the cardio.
Yeah, but baby. But it's just a long way to go. I would be interested to see how that does affect who does play captain, right? Because a lot of times you have center backs as captains too. Yeah. But I do think that this will force coaches to think about who's my captain on the field type of thing. Not in a bad way. I mean, Brad's still the leader of this team in this clubhouse, but do you put a guy like
Dax?
Well, he'd have to be on the field the whole time.
Well, I'm just someone closer is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Do you put Dax? Do you even put a guy like, maybe Daniel Rios if he's playing? I think his probably English is good enough to talk to someone who's been in the States for a while. Brooks. A guy like that.
Brooks. Yeah.
Brooks is probably a good shout. Those guys, who can talk to a referee, who are on the field, and especially Brooks, because you talk about taking free kicks. He's probably the guy who's there anyway. So yeah, I do think this affects a little bit who your captain will be, but I think this is a good overall thing for the league and a good thing for the game to kind of reduce the amount of belly aching that we see for no good reason.
Fido at Midtown at 3:00 for anybody.
Fido Midtown 3:00.
Okay.
We had a good time yesterday. We were enjoying it. We just didn't get our shots. We thought we had one.
Yeah.
Offside.
You got some from one. You got some from one side of the bar. You just didn't get any in the back of the net. So you're in Vegas next week.
I am in Vegas on Saturday, and I'll be there through Tuesday. So I'll be hosting and introducing people all week.
Yes, you will. And obviously, if you're up and awake and aware,
I
mean,
it's a 3-hour difference.
Yeah, I know.
It is a little bit on a Tuesday.
Like the beginning of your day and everything. At Soccer for US POD at Bartimus Prime 19. Go enjoy the rest of your morning, and maybe folks will see you at Fido this afternoon.
Cheers, y'all.
All right, be good. What's the mug, by the way?
Good Morning Baltimore.
Yes.
The musical
yes. There you go. All right. So good morning, Baltimore. We'll catch up with you soon. That's Bart. And as always, it's great to catch up with Bart and get his perspective on things. The United States was awarded the 2034 Winter Games in Salt Lake City yesterday. And there was much rejoicing, and there was laughter over an amendment that I think was put in the agreement where the IOC could pull a host city's title for a 5-ring circus if they badmouthed the anti-doping agency, which is widely panned, universally panned. But good luck on the 5-ring circus being pulled from Salt Lake just because people want to talk about how poorly managed your anti-doping agency is. So 2028 Los Angeles, 2034 back in Salt Lake City. So 10 years to plan and resurrect the venues that you've got and get everything squared away for the 5-ring circus on the winter side in 2024. So very, very cool stuff there. It is the beginning of hour number 2, and it is time. It is time to go catch up with a man who's already worked out this morning. I know he has. He's already worked out. He's flexed. He's burned the calories. He's burned the breakfast off. He's ready to vent his spleen about everything going on in and around the planet. I figured today we'd do a bit of an education as well because, he's kind of busy. And our folks at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. If you don't subscribe to Fanatis like I do, Jason got me hooked. I blame him. You can catch up with him as he's calling matches around South America on Gold TV on the U.S. side. Time to catch up with our buddy Nino Torres. Nino, what up?
Hey, John, how you doing, guys? How's everybody doing over there, man?
Everybody's dialed up, and they have their collective eyebrows raised over a couple of things that happened yesterday. We can't even get out of day one in the 5-ring circus over there in France without anything happening. We had our resident referee come in before you and break everything down. And yes, everything was laid out properly when it came to protocol and everything. But Argentina and Morocco, it was off the rails nuts. First off at 15 minutes added in the second half. And then you end up with a goal at 90 plus 16. And then you got stuff thrown on the field. Then you got folks leaving the pitch because stuff's being thrown on the field and fans are on the field. And then when you think that a match is over and it's not over, and then you got to come back 90 minutes later, it's chaos, brother. What in the wide world of sports was everybody thinking down there where you are?
I mean, everybody's just shocked here, man. Everybody's shocked, especially in Argentina, right? In Argentina, they want to, go to the task. They're going to go to the FIFA. They're going to go somewhere else to. It's just crazy because there's one standpoint that they might try. It's not over. Huh? It's not over. This isn't over. All right. They may try for the 3 points. They're gonna contest the result. They're gonna protest. They're gonna send documents, and we'll see if they can claim the 3 points. I don't know if it's gonna be the correct path or the right path to do it. But the thing is, this is my question, right? This is my question here. Why in the world the referee didn't suspend the game? Why didn't just suspend? You know what? Game's over here. Everybody go home. The game's suspended. We'll figure it out later because we cannot allow fans on the. I mean, not only a couple of fans, but the what is this? The fireworks? What something they threw on the pitch, right? It's just I've seen like how many games in the Portuguese league, then the especially Benfica fans, the last stretch of the season, fans were throwing flares at the pitch, man. We're throwing flares at the pitch. They suspend the game. They suspend the game a couple of times. I think that's the right way to do it. But the show must go on, right? And it's the Olympics starting tomorrow, and we're not gonna stop this. And it's already the controversy is already there, man. Controversy is already there. You cannot erase it. You cannot, cover up. No, you can't. Just it is crazy. But the fact that the VAR wasn't working, really. This is the Olympics, man. This is the biggest sports event of the year, and you cannot get it right.
Yeah. Well, and then speaking of not getting it right, have you in your time of covering games and calling play-by-play, have you, sir, ever used a drone when you weren't supposed to use a drone and get your work done? Have you ever done anything like that? Have you ever used any kind of any kind of broadcast teaching or learning aid that you shouldn't have when you're trying to get ready for a match? Have you ever used a drone or anything like that when you shouldn't have?
We tried once, but they shut us down. They shut us down in Columbus. I remember because we got it wrong, and no, we tried. We tested. Yeah, it's working. No, you don't have the rights. You're not using it. You're not using it. They shut us down right away.
Reason I ask is because of what went down with Canada and the women's team. Canada's women's team, they decided to scout their first opponent in the women's tournament by using drones, which you're not supposed to do. B, you're in a no-fly zone. C, you did it not once but twice. Apparently, you got caught after the second time you did it because the players were like, hey, that looks like a bird, and then the noise is a little different. Dude gets arrested.
My God.
8-month suspended sentence, and the French authorities are kicking that guy out, a non-credentialed analyst out. Assistant coach that the analyst reported to kicked out. Canada's coach is like, that's not how we operate here. I knew nothing about it, kind of a thing. I didn't authorize. So she denied, Bev Priestman denied any knowledge of the activity. And she has removed herself from the touchline for this first match. For this first match of the Canada and the women's tournament going up against New Zealand. New Zealand wants it to go to FIFA's disco. FIFA's disciplinary committee is looking at it right now. Canada can't get out of their own way as defending as gold medalists. It's an absolute mess. Like I said, brother, we haven't even gotten to the opening ceremonies and all hell's broken loose overseas.
I'm just hoping that tomorrow, man, the Sena River behaves, man. What if something happens, man, on the river? The boats collide or something. They're gonna do that parade on the river, and they hit any of the bridges there. I don't know. It's gonna. You got the surfing competition in Tahiti, man.
It's a French territory. They round it.
It is right, but they got Biarritz, man. They got Biarritz right there on the coast of France, man. Why? I mean, I don't know. But anyway, back to the thing of the drones.
Yeah,
that brings me over to the Bielsa situation. Remember that when he got involved with the Spygate?
Dude got busted, and then Bielsa takes out a PowerPoint presentation, basically saying, "I didn't need it." Everybody's like, "Oh, Bielsa's going to resign." They call this press conference like, And then it's like everybody's there and they're waiting for Bielsa to resign. Bielsa busts out a PowerPoint presentation going, I didn't need it.
and then the coach of Canada is going to say, I'm not going to be on the touchline for one game. All right. So just want to be show my respects to prove that I didn't do anything wrong. And like, all right, so you're going to give me now the magic bullet theory now too?
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about it with like American college football coaches. They know everything. They are in such control of their programs.
Absolutely everything.
No one steps out of line unless the coach tells you to step out of line.
Exactly. Come on, man. Come on. Don't tell me that you didn't know. Oh, it's just that's PR. You know, it's just pure PR. You know, to cover your ass and to try to get it going in some way somehow. But the coach knows everything. That's
she can't survive this, can she?
I don't know, man. It's Canada. What do you want to tell you? It's Canada. I don't think that she in any other country she wouldn't survive, but I don't know in Canada, man. Those guys up north are kind of weird and sometimes.
Well, but considering that they went all what you call it? They went all college football to try to find a sponsor so they could hire Jesse Marsh. It is a tenured professor position, as Soccer for US podcast Bart Keeler said. It's a tenured professor position with what Jesse Marsh has. So that's where they are with getting money right now. It's like we'll bring in coaches, but it'll be a sponsored gig. That is not me calling you, by the way.
I know.
That is not me calling you. So, I mean, yeah, Canada by nature is a bit of a mess, and they're having to sit there and try to figure out how to do things. But no, legitimately, Bev Priestman cannot survive this. They're doing the internal review and everything. And so we're waiting to see what happens with the internal review and the FIFA disciplinary committee. But no, she can't survive this, man. No, she can't she?
No, she won't. She won't survive. She won't survive. And it's just, and I think it would have been different if it would happen in I don't know, in the domestic league or something, right?
Yeah.
But not at this level. Not at this level. The level of this competition, all the nations that are involved, the prestige, everything. There's too many things behind just this action that it's going to focus solely on the soccer team. Oh, just be careful because it could be any more repercussions at the entire nation, as you know, the entire Olympic delegation from Canada. Okay, yeah. So it's not going to be just that. No. This is the Olympics. This is global.
Speaking of global, your time. Go ahead and flash the gun show. Can you flash the gun show one more time?
Yeah.
And show everybody else what's going on. Because that city that you got, go ahead and let me see the gun show, brother. Because folks who have not seen this, right there, that is the map. That is the interstate map of Columbus, Ohio, right there. That's strong. That is strong. They had the MLS All-Star game this past yesterday, and Liga MX took MLS to the whipping shed. Again, 4-1.
Again, yeah.
When you spent time in Major League Soccer, when you were in Columbus, Ohio, what did you think of the MLS All-Star game when you were here in the United States?
That they needed an upgrade. That's what they needed. This thing that they're doing now with the Liga MX All-Stars, I think is the right way to do, because it's a game that I know it's a show, right? I know it's a show. I get it. But at the same time, you as the MLS, they need to prove a point. They still need to prove a point. They still need that. They won the CONCACAF champions. Yeah, that's fine. Just once, right? Or twice. Does somebody else won another one? Or just once.
Yeah, Seattle won it recently. Yeah,
Seattle, right? But nobody else. That's as far as I know.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think so. So the thing is, they're still behind. Even though in Liga MX it's a mess right now. The Liga MX is a mess. They don't have relegation now, and it's crazy what's happening in the Liga MX. This is a league that I particularly don't like because it's an island. It's an island. Once you go to the Liga MX as a player, you don't go anywhere else. You don't go anywhere. It's so hard for them to get out of there because they pay an insane amount of money, right? The insane amount of money. The way that the regulations are going in the Liga MX, they keep you there. So that's why I don't like that league, because it's not a liga that can export players easily. Or there is, I don't know what's going on with the Liga MX, but I think they need to change, but they're not going to change because they believe that they are the kings of the world. They believe that the league is better than the Premier League. All right, so the Liga MX, we're talking about MLS All Stars here. And, I got to match them in some way somehow because I don't like that league, but still they're still ahead of the MLS. And there's something that I think this is the right way to do it. The MLS All Stars versus the Liga MX All Stars, and I think that should be going every single year. I know that before it was so cool because you got the teams from the Premier League coming in. You got Manchester United coming in. You got Liverpool. You got all these teams that get the audience. But I think this is the right way to do it. Before, when those teams were coming, it was scary, man, because you didn't know what to expect, right? Because Manchester United came in and boom, will run you over 5-0 no. They keep up, they show up their improvements as a league. But what's the coolest thing that I love about the MLS All Stars? All the cameras, the new perspectives that they bring. You put the camera on the referee, put a camera on one player one time, right? Was it on Gusen?
They'll do like GoPros, and they'll have them like wearing earpieces so they can talk to the play-by-play guys while they're playing, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. That you don't see that anywhere else in the world, but I think it's pretty cool.
So then let me ask you this. For you mentioned where you think Liga MX is. They're just kind of over there. They're on an island themselves, and they think of themselves so highly, and they're over here, and they don't want to play with everybody else. It's like they're in the playground, but they're only there because they have to be.
Yeah.
So for Major League Soccer, that is trying to be a top 10 league in the world, and I mean, you follow and you call leagues all around the planet. Major League Soccer is trying to be a top 10 league. I'd say probably right now they're like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in there. They're a top 15 league on the planet. If they're trying to crack the top 10, why have these exhibitions? I mean, I know I'm done with the end of the day because of the TV contract and Leagues Cup and everything. I know the why. But outside of the obvious television why not have the competition with yourself to prove to everyone else that your players and the depth of the number of players that you have, if you play yourself, you sit there and it's like, look, the quality of our players are more than just the 20 guys that we brought in here to get thumped by Liga MX. I mean, shouldn't you want to try to challenge yourself against yourself to see how good you are sometimes?
I think that it will come. I think that will come. But actually, it was before like that, right? Wasn't it the East versus the West, right? Yeah. Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. I think they need to take that leap, but not now. Give it a couple more years. I want to say give it 2-3 more years playing with Liga MX, and then once you, I want to say this: once you prove that you are toe-to-toe with the Liga MX, all right, let's do All Stars, East versus the West. Let's get it back to us only.
And shoot, I mean, if you're Apple, why don't you have a Liga MX All-Star game on your air the same weekend that you've got a Major League Soccer All-Star game? Have it like a double header, and showcase everybody on this continent. And that way you could do it that way, and you're not having to challenge yourself. See, we're as good as they are. We're as good as they are. See.
I get it. Yeah,
I'm trying to program it. I know.
No. I get it. But they still need to prove a point. That's the thing, man. They still need to prove the point. And then the reality is that they're not up there yet.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That's why you have to go this route. It's not the preferred route. No, it's not what you want now, but it's what you need to do. It's what you have to do right now, because even though it's been an ginormous progress in the MLS. I mean, ginormous. Matter of fact, there's the number one. It's the number one. I think I gotta take a look at my data again, but I think it's the number one league to sell in terms of selling players to Europe. I think it's the number one, if I'm not mistaken, or number two in America. So we're talking about Brazil, Argentina. MLS is right up there in terms of selling players to Europe. So that tells you a lot about the progress that this league has made over the years, man.
There are a couple other things that I wanted to have you talk to our viewers and our listeners about this morning for this go round of Thursdays with our buddy Nino. I think that I know that the diehards really have to go looking for it, but once again, our buddies at Fanatis really help us out with this. Right now, we are in Copa Sudamericana, Copa Libertadores time.
Yeah.
And what are folks here in the United States missing out on by not watching and adding it to their sicko TV viewing habits? What are they missing out on by not watching Sudamericana and Libertadores?
I want to put you like this, man. They're missing the Game of Thrones of sports.
Wow.
That's what they're missing. All right, because it's just so fierce. The competition is so ridiculously hard, ridiculously tough. Let me give you an example, right? Boca Juniors, which arguably is one of the, if not the best or biggest team in the continent, went to toe-to-toe with Independiente del Valle. Is this team from Ecuador that has been making ginormous progress in the continent too lately. And then they went to Quito. It was 0-0. I think in the second series it was last night. They only won 1-0. 1-0 against a team from Ecuador that was founded in 2012, man. 2012. Boca Juniors is 100 years old, man. All right, 2012, and this team is putting up with the big dogs. This team can put up with any other team in the continent. And now Boca Juniors is in trouble now because they did not win the Copa Libertadores last year, and they in the domestic competition they did not reach the spot to qualify for the next year. So now Boca Juniors must win this Copa Sudamericana in order to qualify for the Copa Libertadores next year. That's a lot of stakes. I mean, there's a lot of stake on the on this Copa Sudamericana, and you have teams. The fun part of this Copa Sudamericana is because it's a second tier, right? It's Copa Libertadores and then Copa Sudamericana, but the difference is just minimal. It's minimal. The quality of the teams, everybody is equal, man. Everybody is equal. You go to Chile, you fight. You go to Venezuela, you fight. You go to Ecuador, you come to Peru. It's crazy. Right now, it was a lot of teams from Ecuador in the and these playoffs. It was Liga de Quito, it was Católica, Independiente del Valle, Delfín. Like 4 teams already from Ecuador fighting in the at the top level with the teams from Argentina, from Uruguay. And it's grind. You grind, and you don't stop grinding until you get it done, man. It's the never endless competition, man.
Well, and today, and the reason is, see, you coming on Thursday, at times it is karma. Everything lines up. You mentioned LDU Quito. They are at one of our favorite team names, period. Today,
Really?
always ready. They're always ready out of
Always
Bolivia.
ready.
They are playing. The LDU Quito is playing at Always Ready tonight. Always Ready in the juice boxes is a slight favorite, but when we get to kind of drift in and watch these tournaments and see, look, when we used to do a Monday night show and everybody's calling us to bring it back, and we do soccer over there. We talk about Sudamericana, we talk about Libertadores. We had picks of the week. And we got to dive into all the great team names, like Always Ready, like our buddy Almirante Brown. I mean, look, upstairs, no lie, I have an Almirante Brown jersey.
What? No way.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
That is what this tournament and what South American soccer has done to us up here. Yeah, I'll tell you what, next Thursday when you come on, I will make sure that I have my Almirante Brown jersey and I will wear it for this next week so you can see what's going on. But yeah, three matches tonight. Cuyaba Palestino, Always Ready in LDU Quito, and Atletico Paranaense and Cerro Porteño. Cerro Porteño is a big dog, by the way, going to Atletico Paranaense. Atletico is a minus 204 tonight.
Minus 204, okay. So, you said what's the numbers for Always Ready?
Hang on. Always Ready, I think, was a minus 106.
Really?
Yeah. Always Ready in this particular fixture tonight. Always Ready is a minus 106. Draws a plus 250. And LDU Quito is a plus 275. Cerro Porteño on the road to win is a plus 612. Draws basically a plus 300. Cuyaba in the early match at 6 o'clock Eastern, minus 156 at home up against Palestino. Draws a plus 257. Palestino is basically a plus 470 tonight.
Man, I don't know why. Because Liga, if they were fighting another team from the not from the altitude like Liga, I would give Always Ready the advantage. But Liga Quito plays at 10,000 feet every day, man. They play that. Yeah. There's no issue going to La Paz or going to El Alto, wherever they want to go, because now they want to. There's another city in Bolivia that is the highest, man. I think it's 15,000 feet above the sea level, man. I think I'm not mistaken, but just do El Alto altitude. Can you check that, John?
Yeah, hang on. Sorry. So you need altitude Bolivia. I know that La Paz is huge.
No, La Paz is huge, but El Alto is even higher than La Paz.
Okay, so let's see. Highest cities in Bolivia. Let's see. Altitude cities, Bolivia. This is me trying to type with fat fingers. All right. List of highest. Oh, yeah. El Alto is 13,615 feet.
There you go. I was something like that.
So
13,000 feet.
Yeah, so El Alto is at 13,615. Potosi is 13,419. So there's number one and number two on the planet. Those two cities, both in Bolivia. Juliaca and Puno. Yeah.
That's us.
Juliaca is at 12,549. Puno is at 12,530. And Oruro in Bolivia is 12,159. So Bolivia has 1, 2, and 6. Peru has 4 and 5, and China has number 3 when it comes to the highest cities in the world.
There you go.
So don't play unless you're really ready for it. Make sure that you don't get a road game at El Alto or Potosi is basically what
Please try to avoid those stops, man. Please.
What matches are you calling this weekend on Gold TV? Have you got your grid yet?
You guys, tomorrow is special day. Liga Uno in Peru. It's El Clásico. Universitario de Deportes versus Alianza Lima. The two powerhouses of Peru colliding at the Monumental in Lima, Peru. 80,000 people ready. Tickets are sold out. Oh, yeah. This is the battle of Peru. I mean, and this is the centenary. This is the 100-year anniversary of my beloved team, Universidad de Deportes, that goes against Alianza Lima. They're arch rivals, the compadres. You call it what you want to call it, man. But this game is just insanely huge in Peru. Everybody already getting ready. The barbecues already. Everything is set up already, man. The presidents of Universidad de Deportes sending messages. We'll see you there. Talking to the Alianza Lima players. The Alianza Lima players saying this. There's a lot of media going since Monday, man. Since Monday, every single day, something comes up about the Clásico, man. It's huge. It's huge.
Oh, that's fantastic. And as always, catch up with our buddy as he's got a busy weekend traditionally on Goal TV. You can catch it at fanatisfntz.co/soccer down here if you don't have Goal TV directly. It is always great to catch up with you for our versions of soccer over there, my friend. Save the pipes. Make sure that you're ready for the Clásico, that you're ready to support appropriately. And we will continue talking things around the planet. Whatever's on your mind, bring to the table Thursdays at 10. It is all yours, my friend. It's great to see you.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me. Let's go Universitario tomorrow. You're doing that, right? But I don't care.
Yeah, well, no, you got to get that out of your system before the match on Friday. It's like I'll say this now and I'll save it. I said it. Tomorrow I'm a professional. I'm a journalist.
Right.
I'll get it out of my system today. No, I said nothing for my team. I said nothing on my team on a Friday. I got that match to call. Thursday, I'm a fan. Friday, I'm calling it. I'm a professional. We're all locked in.
My tie on, and yeah.
Be safe, my friend. We'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Take care.
All right, that's Nino. That's hilarious. It's like get your fandom out of your system. It's like that's what everything up through Thursday is all about. And it's really cool that Nino puts up with us on Thursdays because it gives us a chance to do a little bit of that soccer over there and find out about what's going on around the planet and getting the different perspectives of what's going on. Because, I mean, there's only so much that we can do and what we can talk about with what we know on a daily basis with all the news of the planet, but getting his perspective and drifting into South America, that's so cool. When you can actually say in a sentence, yeah, we're drifting into South America. We're catching up with folks. We're going to Peru. We're going to Peru. Then we get to catch up with folks. But no, it's always cool to sit there and catch up with Nino and find out what's going on. And Niko Moreno joining us in a handful of minutes, and we'll go through everything in Major League Soccer at the All-Star break and the halfway point. Nick wanted me to remind Niko that he picked up everything in the Western Conference last week with all the matchups that were there. So we'll get Niko's thoughts on All-Star break, what folks need to do, what the situation's like in Seattle, all of that stuff. And so since we got a little bit of time, we'll do gossip, rumor, and innuendo and what to watch. Remember, you've got all the matchups in women's soccer today. That's going on 2 at 11, 2 at 1 o'clock, and 2 at 3 o'clock. So keep an eye on all those matchups, and probably the best thing to do is just go to Peacock and camp out. Atletico Madrid extremely confident of securing a deal to sign Conor Gallagher. Crystal Palace targeting a move for Marseille and Senegalese winger Ismail Assar. Inter Milan hopeful the pursuit of Calafiori will force them to sell Jakub Kivior. Manchester United considering a move for Danish midfielder Martin Hjulman from Sporting Lisbon. Chelsea closing in on a deal to sign Villarreal and Denmark U21 goalkeeper Philip Jorgensen, who's attracted interest from Marseille. 20 million, I think, was the number that was being tossed. Chelsea have offered 17 million pounds in add-ons for Jorgensen in a bid to strengthen their goalkeeping options. 4-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. Trent Alexander-Arnold wants to stay with Liverpool despite the English fullback getting interest from Real Madrid. Real Sociedad president Jochen Aperibai has denied there are any talks ongoing with Liverpool over a potential deal for Takefusa Kubo. Newcastle eager to push through a move for AC Milan and Germany defender Malik Thiaw for about 35 million pounds. So that's your gossip, rumor, and innuendo this morning all across the planet. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, and what we always do, we catch up with our friends at Soccer America for this. A lot of it is Olympics. Sudamericana tonight, doubleheader, BN and BN in Espanol. You get the BN, you get Gold TV, CDO for the fans, Nuestra Tele, TIC, all in one place. fanatisfntz.co/soccer down here. Cuyaba and Palestinos at 6. Our buddies at Always Ready and LDU Quito, that's at 8:30. And being in Espanol. FS1, the CONCACAF U20s at 7 and 10. Cuba, Jamaica, and the USA and Costa Rica. The Olympics on USA. Spain and Japan coming up at the top of the hour. And USA and Zambia is at 3. Being in Espanol simulcasting. Telemundo has 3 matches. Spain, Japan, Nigeria, Brazil at 1. France, Colombia at 3. Universo, Canada, New Zealand, Germany, Australia, USA, Zambia. Golazo Network has Europa League qualifying. Holy crap, we're already there. Ajax and Vojvodina's at 2:30. NBCOlympics.com has all 6 of the women's matches today. Paramount Plus, the Argentine Primera. Lanús Belgrano, Platense Vélez Sarsfield at 5:45. Doubleheader at 8. Atlético Tucumán Instituto Tigre Central Córdoba. Peacock has all 6 of the matches that are in the women's side today. It is final half hour of the show. That means we go to Seattle and we catch up with our buddy Niko Moreno. And there's Niko right there. Salute, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you, John. SDH family, what's going on? It is early in the morning here in Seattle. We're probably going to have a pretty decent day, but there's a little overcast, but excited to be on here to just talk some soccer, man. We had All-Star game yesterday. It was what an exhibition game can be, and we'll be getting ready for Leagues Cup. So, there are some things to talk about.
Yeah, well, and also our buddy Nino Torres, who's on before you. Nino's still camped out. Nino's in the green room. He didn't want to leave. He posted something in the chat, and I'm just going to bring Nino back into the room because when the two of you get together, it is thunder and lightning. So I'm just going to bring Nino back because he had a Rui Diaz thought. And so Nino's got to plug his mic back in. He was just watching. And so give me the thumbs up in the green room when you're ready, Nino. But yeah, Nino, the discussion that you guys had about Raul Rui Diaz is now taking its own biblical proportions. It's exploding once again all over the place. And so Nino, I'm gonna bring Nino back in for another Rui Diaz talk. All right, Nino, what's going on in your brain? What's going on down there in Peru? Hit me again.
Oh my God! Hey, Niko, how you doing, man?
How are you?
This is crazy because I thought we got all settled right last week when we talked about it, and there's no chance at all. And then Raul Diaz comes on his Instagram, right, sending these mixed messages, putting the songs of Universitario Deportes. And last night, a couple of nights ago, he said, you know what month it is, right? You know what month it is? This is the biggest and brightest month of the year because this is Universitario's centenary in August 9th since 1924. So he's, posting pictures like saying that with his Universitario jersey. It's like, come on, man. Pulga, stop playing with us, man.
It's kind of funny how things work out, right? Sometimes we want something so bad that every single thing makes us think beyond what it really is. But Raul is just a guy that obviously has a piece of his heart with Universitario. He's a fan. He's played there. Of course, he's excited about, the anniversary and everything that is coming for Universitario. And as you or John or me would put on our Instagram, he decides to do it himself. But there is nothing beyond that. I've gotten a whole bunch of WhatsApps and messages. People DM me. Someone asked me why Raul Diaz's jersey wasn't available on, MLS.com. And I was like, look, there's like 5 other players that are not available. No Albert Rusnak, a bunch of other players. He means nothing. They asked me if Raul was at practice yesterday. He absolutely was. Someone said that maybe he was on his way to Peru. I was like, no, he's practicing with the team, and he has a game on Friday. So,
we're trying so hard, man.
There's just such a desire, such a want to have him. I saw the fans cheering and yelling at Ferrari to bring La Pulga. I get it. I understand the passion behind it, but the reality hasn't changed and is exactly as we talked about last week, man. I hate to do it to you. I hate to break your heart, but at the end of the day, there's just not a high probability that Raul is going to go anywhere. I mean, it's almost set in stone, the fact that he'll be here, and then at the end of the year, contract expires.
Right.
We'll see what happens. I still believe that there is probably going to be a bigger market and there's a higher probability that he stays within MLS the exact same way. Like history repeats itself. This is exactly the same things that I would hear from Nacional fans when Lodero was at the end of his time with Seattle. He's coming and he put up some pictures of Nacional, exact same things, and he ended up going to Orlando. Because at the end of the day, these guys want to live here, and they like it out here.
Yeah, they come from. They got paid good money. So yeah, no, it is what it is.
And I wouldn't even put it past Raul that he could stay. I mean, I'm not his financial advisor, and I can't really tell him exactly, or his agent. I can't tell him what to take, what not to take. But Seattle will probably offer them a deal. You know, there is the legend rule here in MLS now, the Carlos Vela rule that might help him stay here. I mean, there are scenarios where he could, but he's going to test the market, and that's what it is. But right now, at this time, Raul Ruidiaz is going nowhere.
There you go.
So
So now, can you please spread that information to South America, sir?
I try, man. I'm telling you, I get people calling me, texting me random, messages like, "Oh, Raul just put this on his IG." There was one where it was like, "Oh, was Raul saying goodbye?" He was at the Sounders Gala and he was saying thank you in his IG to the owner because he brought him here, and it was nothing more than a gala. It was literally a gala with fans and the training facility, and people was like, "Oh no, they're saying goodbye. It's a private party, and they're saying goodbye to Raul." So every single thing that comes up in his IG gets taken out of context, but there's nothing new. Absolutely nothing new.
my God, man. So how come Nacional can bring Falcao, man? How come Nacional can bring Lucho Suarez and we cannot get La Pulga? I'm in the streets right now, man. I'm going to protest right now. I'm going to go on the streets right now and go to the Monumental Stadium, walking. It's like 5 miles from my house. So I'm going to go there and talk to Ferrari, man, telling him, how come these guys can bring their legends and we can't?
Oh, you two are too much. Oh God. All right. Sorry. I'm gonna keep laughing for a while. Nino, did that answer your question? Are you gonna run to the offices and run out to the streets and just start waving a flag now?
Yes, I'm gonna start right now, man. Right now.
All right.
Nino, I promise you that if something changes and I hear anything at all, I will make sure to DM you immediately, let you know firsthand if that was to happen. But again, this team is ready for Leagues Cup. They're playing Minnesota on this Friday. This team needs the depth. They need Raul. As a matter of fact, with how bad they were beaten by ALAFC with Jordan Morris at the 9 and how much better they looked with Raul and Jordan, they're probably still thinking that Raul is going to be able to help them out a lot. So he's going to be here, man.
All right. Nino, get to running out in the streets. We'll catch up with you next week, brother.
Right. See you guys. Thank you, man.
Man, that's hilarious. See, that's why I have the two of you on Thursdays, because literally the two of you can just probably do your own show here, and I'll just sit back for that half hour, just like, all right, y'all go for it. Y'all can just talk, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. Now that you got the Rave Green mug out today, are we on Cup 2?
Yes, that is definitely Cup 2. Been up for a while. The Mr. Ozzy, my dog, he was up early and then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I decided to rewatch a couple of games, rewatch the Sounders game, watch a little bit of the All-Star game all over again. And here I am.
Why? Nick, in Cliffhanger last week, Nick got all the West Coast stuff right. He wanted me to remind you of that. Coming into All-Star, I've been trying to. We have a fix for the All-Star game, and now that the All-Star game has passed, I'll probably post it to the network to make it a little bit more fun, make it a little bit more interesting. You don't necessarily have to play Liga MX guys, as a part of this whole process. How many more years? And I probably know the answer to this. The answer is 8. But how many more years do you think that Major League Soccer is going to put up with getting taken to the woodshed by Liga MX in this Midsummer Classic?
You mean the All-Star game?
Yeah.
I mean, MLS had won the last two, right?
Well, I mean, but yeah, I'll double check it. But I mean, there were times where you're just kind of like, why did you watch the All-Star game?
Yeah, I watched it. It was definitely. It's kind of hard to really put any sort of I don't know, importance when you have a team that 26 minutes in is changing guys. You don't really have the best of the best when it comes to these rosters. At least MLS speaking, I don't follow MX enough to say who got snubbed or not. But, in the second half, I mean, Kalina should have been the goalkeeper. He should have been brought into this one. Santi Rodriguez should have been in there instead of Mukhtar. Love Mukhtar. I know he's done so much for the league, but this year, this version of Mukhtar is not what we've seen in the past. Obviously, Chicho Arango and his antics don't have him here. So, yes, there were portions of that game where Liga MX looked superior. It seemed like they did a lot more of like set piece training and things. You saw that second goal. I mean, it's a prepared set piece that they kind of put together. MLS was a little bit passive in portions of this game. There is some experienced players for Liga MX, and Salomon Rondon was a difference maker. And then Bruneta, when he came on, he was a game changer. And you love what Pizarro does in the back. And I mean, Liga MX played a good game. They were superior. They were able to take advantage of some moments where there were miscommunications. There were issues. In the second half, a lot of space was given to this Liga MX team. So to your question, how long is this going to continue to go on? When are we going to get tired of Liga MX versus MLS? I'm not quite sure. I would think that after the World Cup, there might be some other talk, some other conversations. I like the fact that they would bring in some European teams. I'm also on board with the old school format of East versus West type of MLS rivalry. Players would love it because there's more bonus to go around for all the MLS players. Puts in display the best out of the best here in MLS. But again, it's just an exhibition. I think it's fun. It does provide a little bit of free marketing, and I saw, just looking at my feed both on Facebook and other social media platforms, people enjoyed it, and they were laughing and they liked it, the skills challenge, everything. So I think that there is some benefit to it. Is that something that you need to keep? I don't know, but I think for now they'll continue to do it at least for another 2 years.
Yeah, I was going to say for the remainder of the television contract with Apple, and as long as there is something called a Leagues Cup, I think that you're going to have this. They lost to Arsenal 5-0. Then you were right, in 21-22, MLS won 2-1. They won in penalties in 21. Atletico Madrid won in 19. Juve won in 18 in penalties. Real Madrid won in 17 in penalties. Arsenal won in 16. So when they're playing the individual sides, they're having problems. When they're going up against Liga MX, they're having success. They won the last two. They lost this one, and they lost to Arsenal. So I guess the lesson here is play an all-star team. If you're going to play somebody, don't play an actual team, as they bring their cohesiveness in this situation.
Exactly. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, it makes sense. And the other whole component is when you start to put this into the ballot and getting players to kind of be voted in more because of popularity than anything else. And some of the coaches' decisions are also a little bit odd. Even the commissioner's decision, like I love Nagby, but is he one of the best players right now in that position? I'm not sure. So if you really want to be competitive against Newcastle or Arsenal or Liverpool, you're going to have to put a team that's more cohesive. You're going to have to get maybe a coach that selects the real best out of the best and see how that goes out. But at the end of the day, it's an exhibition. It's for fun. I think that's exactly what you got yesterday. So it's just kind of the start and the perfect opening act for Leagues Cup. It's literally what it was.
So Leagues Cup, I know that we've got matches and group stage that kicks in literally starting tomorrow. You mentioned your match in Seattle against Minnesota United. Atlanta United is at home taking on DC. Purple team's got CF Montreal. Pumas is taking on Austin. The Juice Boxers have thrown a blanket over that one. It's within the margin of error. LAFC is taking on Cholos. And obviously, for the most part, the Major League Soccer teams are prohibitive favorites in this because everything's still at home. Everything still is at home sites for the teams in Major League Soccer. So the Liga MX side's at a distinct disadvantage coming into this tournament because they're the ones doing all the traveling and they're not going home for home games. What is the vibe in Seattle about Leagues Cup in general? And is it just something that everybody's trying to wait through to get to the second half of the season?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. At least the real, red-blooded, you know, uh, ECS supporter, the people that are really have been following this team for a very long time, they all believe that this sort of effort and marketing and everything that the league does to make sure that this tournament is a success should be put into something more like the Open Cup that has more history, that they feel like they're more embedded into. You've seen probably the fan bases that are boycotting this Leagues Cup here and there in Orlando and Austin and all of these places. So I think that there is a little bit of a split in terms of how many people are excited about this. I'm very curious of what the numbers are going to look like in terms of attendance on Friday. It is a Friday. It is a work day. Minnesota's not a fantastic team. If people are really trying not to go to this game, it'd be very easy not to go to it. So I think we'll see exactly where people are at this particular game. Even the Necaxa game. Necaxa, I know that there's already a group getting ready to receive the team here in Seattle, and they probably have their, 5,000 fans or so. But how much is that going to reflect in that game against Necaxa? I'm not quite sure. So I would say, yes, there is a mixed feelings here in Seattle in terms of this Leagues Cup, and the majority of the people are not too excited about it, and they are kind of waiting and hoping that either Seattle flames out or that they rotate a lot of players so they focus on MLS once he comes back, as well as the semifinal of Open Cup against LAFC.
Question from one of our Twitch pitchers, and it's from Abby, and you may know the answer, you may not, but she wants to know if Leagues Cup was included as a part of the season ticket package for Seattle Sounders.
As far as I know, and this is not my forte, but I have talked to some people, I believe that it's not. Okay. And I believe that you do get first pick at the games, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I don't have season tickets. I don't follow that part, but I thought that I had seen a few season ticket members tell me that they do need to put in for those tickets.
Yeah, reason that she is asking is because for the first game in Leagues Cup, it was included as a part of the season ticket package, and she was just trying to figure out, what it is in other cities, and so that's why she was asking.
Maybe that makes sense. I mean, one of the games, perhaps, yeah, but I'm not quite sure. I'll find that out though, and I'll make sure to bring that information here next week. But I'll make sure to get that in for you. One game makes sense. Second game is an option. Yep. Hey, that sounds exactly as what a team would do for an event like this one. So yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
We'd like to welcome some new folks into the Twitch pitch. We've got a couple of Liverpool fans apparently have decided to come crash us this morning, wanting to know about our UK football teams that we support. I have one on. Well, I had membership in trusts on each level, and then promotion and relegation got in the way. So the easy answer for me is AFC Wimbledon, Scunthorpe United, Swansea, and what's my other one? Portsmouth. Those are the ones. One on each level. I had it all figured out. When I started following everything from the beginning, it was like, okay, I'll get a Premier League team, a Championship team, a League One team, and a League Two team. and then promotion relegation got in the way, and like one was almost went completely bankrupt. Two are in League Two, one's in League One, so I'm out of control. So good morning to You'll Never Walk Alone 66 and Jordan Hyman. Welcome. This is where we are from 9:05 Eastern to 11 whenever Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Other things that I wanted to discuss with you this morning, we got into the All-Star game. We're kind of at the unofficial halfway point of the season. So when it comes to teams that, since we're now in the transfer window, teams that are cool where they are, I feel like Carlito all of a sudden. teams that are cool where they are, and maybe a tweak here or there just to kind of let things go. Who do you think is cool where they are? They can just kind of sit and watch everybody else. Who do you think is a move away from hitting that next level? And who's a move away from possibly, taking the house of cards and sitting there and smashing it and running it into the ground? You pull the wrong Jenga block out and you can fall in. And who's just basically in your mind right now at the halfway point?
Well, the cool cucumbers, I think, is Columbus. I think they're the one team that, if they were to continue and keep this exact roster, they are still probably the best team in MLS. They're my pick to take Leagues Cup as well. In a tough schedule, I got them beating Tigres, later down the line. So they'll be my team that's cool and collected. I would also put the Timbers in that conversation, and I say that because we've seen enough out of this attacking front to kind of, maybe realize that this roster is good enough to do a lot of damage. Defensively, they got some work to do, but they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league. I think that Evander is all bought in. I expect him to continue to do that. Love what Santi Moreno is doing, really coming through. Jonathan Rodriguez is bought in. I mean, the team just seems to have a lot of quality in the final third, and I feel like that's going to be displayed here in both MLS and Leagues Cup. So those are the two teams that I would pick as the cool. We're watching, we're chill, we're not worried about the summer window. Then what teams are one move away? Charlotte comes to mind. I mean, Charlotte is such a disciplined team, such a hard team to break down. They seem to have all the pieces from the back end to the front. I think Swiderski gives them a 9, with some principles of a false 9. He can draw back, he can generate some things. Maybe if they add either another 9 and allow Swiderski to play behind him, or maybe go in a 2-striker system, or they bring in a 10 and allow Swiderski to have someone that's going to amplify his game. I love what Westwood's been doing. Obviously, this is a team that has found Adjimeng and really having a guy that's going to give you depth or a different profile of striker. Someone is going to come in, press, beat people behind the back line, just very different than Swiderski. So I think that's a team that is one move away from, being really, really good. I would say that Cincinnati is another team that, if they bring in a center back to
center back, brother,
to help what's going on back there, they're obviously going to be a contender because of what Arellano's doing, because of Lucho, because I feel like Kelsey up there. What's going to happen with Bupensa? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Are you going to try to free that off the books and maybe use that to bring in a center back? So that's another team that I feel like are one move away from being really good. And then the last one was a team that might mess things up by bringing somebody in.
Yeah.
I think the LA Galaxy. I keep hearing this Marcus Rios coming, and I don't know where he fits. And I don't know if you're going to be adding a component where there's a lot of chemistry right now. There's fluidity. Fagundes, Peck, Ricky, Pencil, Joveljic. I mean, that's a lot of players that have brought you where you are. They're all really binding together. You saw what Fagundes has been doing all season. So if you bring a guy like that, one of those guys is going to fall off. One of those guys might be upset. One of those guys might not be as comfortable. And then you don't know what the learning curve and how quickly this new player is going to adapt. So when you're doing so many things well on the attacking end and you bring another piece, I feel like you're really playing with fire where you could just overload that group and maybe just make that Jenga puzzle fall, just like you said, right? That tower's real leaning to one side. You have one more piece, you're going to fall over. Rather than maybe bringing in another holding midfielder, someone is going to help being that first filter. Drugman's had some issues. I like Cerrillo, but he doesn't give you that eliteness. Delgado looks really lonely sometimes. We know that they concede a lot of goals. Could they bring a guy in that area to make it better? I think they could. So if they do bring a guy of this high profile, I think that they would be one of those teams that's just playing with fire in terms of that.
Okay, so then who's done?
Oh, there's a lot of teams that are done. I mean, San Jose, they could bring Mbappe and it'd be a disaster. I mean, they're still not scoring on nobody. There's still a mess in the back line. They have goalkeeping issues. I think that Nashville is getting ready to just put in the punch card. With Serge is injured and Simberman out. You got important games coming up. If he gets hurt, if he's just anything could happen when you're with the Olympic team, right? So if you get an injury there, it's a problem. We've seen Godoy kind of not look 100% this season. So I know that they're bringing in a box-to-box midfielder. Is that going to help? Perhaps. But I feel like they're one of those teams that it's very close to just spiraling out of control. Mukhtar can't seem to get it. The gunpowder's wet. I don't know what's going on. He's just not going his way this season. Has to do a lot with the dysfunction of the team, to be honest. But I feel like Nashville is another team that's right there to just kind of loosen it all. I don't want to say St. Louis, but I do want to say St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis is a team that they are bringing some pieces in Harrell, and they got some players coming in, but is it enough? Can it be enough to compete in the West to get you in to play along the lines of a team like Houston that I feel like is going to be really strong, like Vancouver that have been up and down, but they can really be on a hot streak real quick. Even Seattle, if Pedro Del Vega can be healthy and be a difference maker and maybe put it all together for Seattle. So I just don't see St. Louis there. I feel like they're another team ready to put their punch card in and being right out.
All right. So what's going on at Soccer Bar and Pulso Sports we need to know about, because I know that you're shifting from our show to your third cup of coffee.
That's right. We'll be talking about Leagues Cup. Obviously, we're going to break down what are some of the teams that could go very far in this tournament in terms of MLS, how they compete with teams like Tigres and Cruz Azul, America. Those are the teams that usually Monterrey. Those are the teams that dominate these sort of tournaments. So how did they play out? How far can Miami do? How much are they willing to really put into this tournament when they've already won it last season? And maybe they would rather worry about that supporter shield, maintaining that home advantage for the playoffs and everything else. We're going to talk about some transfers, some news that have come around MLS. So should be a good one. In Pulso Sports, I'll be down at Swedish and Providence Clubhouse. Yes. And we're going to be just coming to you with Brian Smetzer talking about Leagues Cup, try to get a couple of players from the Seattle Sounders. It should be a busy day for Pulso Sports as well.
As always, my friend, great to see you during your second cup of coffee. And thank you for the worldwide conversation that you have with Nino on the Nino and Niko crossover segment, where we end up discussing everything with South America, North America, and all points in between. I love the fact that you guys just run, and I learn more on a Thursday when the two of you combine. It's like the Wonder Twins. You guys just sit there and you go like that, and it's thunder and lightning, it all explodes. Thank you, my friend. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you, John. Have a good one. Take it easy. Enjoy Leagues Cup. Hopefully Atlanta gets a win. It'll be an interesting game against DC United. We'll see what happens over there. But always good seeing you and the SDH family. Have a good one.
All right, be good, brother. All right, so there goes Niko. Niko's going to go from one show to the next show. And a couple of other notes before we get out of here it is Atlanta United has rostered Jacob Williams and Ashton Gordon for Leagues Cup. And also the transfer of Ezequiel Barco to Spartak Moscow has taken place. And so that is now officially official. And it looks like the price tag was in the neighborhood of 16 million US. So that the picture has been made. Barco is there, and he is transferred over to the Russian league. So Ezequiel Barco. And now we have to figure out how much of that ends up in the coffers of Atlanta United. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there with Ezequiel Barco heading over to the Russian league. So we'll keep an eye on that one as we go. Tomorrow, stacked. We catch up with our friends in Asheville City, Scott Wells in the USL League 2 round of eights. We also are going to be catching up with our friends from Tormenta. Darren Van Tassel is going to join us at one point of the show. They're having a press conference in the next couple of minutes, and they're going to announce the signing of Niko by Burton Albion, largest transfer in USL League 1 history. So it's a big day for League 1 and a big day for everyone in Statesboro. And so South Georgia Tormenta, we'll have them on tomorrow. Hopefully we'll catch up with our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring tomorrow and catch up with what's going on there. Get you ready for all the playoffs, all of the things, Leagues Cup, all the points in between, all here in one place. Thanks to Jarrett. Thanks to all of you guys for coming in. So it was Jarrett, it was Bart, it was Nino, it was Niko, and it was y'all. Let's see. I think David, I think Sosa is gone. I think Sosa is off. I think Sosa is off the books. And I think they're clear. I'll check on that, but I think everything is clean. So once again, the women's national team later today against Zambia, and we'll catch up with all that activity tomorrow. So it's going to be a stacked show. Probably might be adding some more guests tomorrow, and it's going to be a fun one. So back at you in a little less than 22. Time to whistle for a close. Time for me to find a banner, and time for me to find a full screen, not a banner, because it was just a banner. You get to see me whistling. So here we go. See you once again tomorrow. Mucha plati. All played safe. See you in a little less than 22.